Illinois Insurance State Exam Prep. What is the cost of a resident limited line producer license? $50. What is the cost for a business entity renewal? $150. Producer must be careful using what 4 words around the potential client? Investment, expansion, profit, or savings plan. Replacing insurer must keep records of a replacement notice for how many years? 3 years. How much is the exam fee for the application for Illinois law? $50. If you violate the cease and desist final order, what is the maximum fine and daily fine? $5,000 maximum, $100 per day. Life companies cannot discriminate in premium charges due to any of the 4 reasons. What are they? 1. Physical handicap. 2. Total or partial blindness. 3. Solely on status as a member of any branch of the armed forces. And 4. Solely on part or future travel plans. How quickly must a producer credit the insured account for refunds? Within 15 days. When liability is affirmed, a payment must be offered in ________ days. 30. In order to handle viatical settlements, the provider must be licensed, and is prohibited from taking advantage of dying people. What does the licensing cost? $3,000 initially, and then $1,500 annually. How much is the fine for misrepresentation or defamation by a producer? Minimum $200, maximum $10,000. How long is a resident producer license valid? 2 years. When must the notice be served for a cease and desist order? Notice served 20-30 days before hearing. What is the cost of a non-resident producer license? $380. How long is a resident limited lines car rental producer license valid? 2 years. How much the agent present themselves to the consumer? Must identify self as producer and the companies they're representing. What is the civil penalty amount for S/R/D per cause? $10,000. Once director takes action, how long does the producer have to request in writing a hearing related to suspension, revocation, or denial? 30 days. What is the cost of a non-resident limited lines car rental producer license? $250. How long does the viator, the terminally ill person selling the policy, have to cancel after signing the contract? 30 days to cancel after signing, and 15 days from date of receipt of the proceeds to return the money. If the service fee exceeds 10% of the policy premium, then the agreement must be parties. Written and signed by both parties. Producer must not mislead their potential clients. The fine for this behavior is $1,000. When a producer decides to replace a policy for the insured, notice must be signed by the producer, left with the insured, sent to the company and forwarded to the other company. In what time frame? 3 working days. When a carrier goes bankrupt, the entity protects consumers with the following limits of liability to the solvent members: underscore 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 max death benefit underscore 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 max cash surrender value underscore 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 health insurance benefits underscore 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 present value of an annuity underscore 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 to a single unallocated annuity contract holder regardless of total contracts. $300,000 max death benefit, $100,000 max cash surrender value, $300,000 health insurance benefits, $100,000 present value of an annuity, $5 million to a single unallocated annuity contract holder regardless of total contracts. How frequently must a producer balance their PFTA, premium fund trust account? At least every 30 days. What is the cost of a resident limited lines car rental producer license? $180. How much is the annual certified provider fee? $1,000. How long must a carrier maintain detailed claims under Reg 919? Records retrievable for the current year and the previous 2 years. How much is the certified course renewal fee? $20. When should the policy summary be provided to the consumer? No later than policy delivery. How long is a non-resident limited lines car rental producer license valid? 2 years. How long is reasonable promptness? 15 days. As a producer, you may not hold funds, improperly holding client funds, for longer than how many days? 15 days. A producer should only replace a policy when it is in the best interest of who? The insured. What institute is the general producer and state IL exam taken through? Pearson VUE. When must the request for a hearing be filed for a regulatory exam of producer? Within 14 days of receipt of copy of the report. What is the cost of a resident producer license? $215. A producer must deliver a policy within what time frame of the offer when the first premium still needs to be collected? 90 days. How long does a temporary license for a producer license last? 180 days. How much is the course certification fee? $50. How often must a business entity renew? Every 2 years. If a business entity producer changes their license, how long do they have to notify and change this? 30 days. What are accelerated benefits? Life insurance death benefits paid before the death of an insured with a terminal illness. What is the maximum written order violation one can receive for regulatory exam producer? Also applies to those whom aid or abets. Maximum of $20,000. When is the examined party required to request a hearing by for a market conduct exam? Within 10 days of receipt of the report. What is the maximum fine for cease and desist final order? $1,000 maximum. What are viatical settlements? Law protects terminally ill who sell their life policy at a discount. What is the cost of a temporary license for a producer application? $50. The agent must show what two elements to the consumer? Projections of the guaranteed and non-guaranteed. What is suitability of life sales? Ensuring that before selling annuity the agent must know the financial status of the client and the sale must be suitable for the client's circumstances. What are the bond requirements, if brokering? $2,500 or 5% previous year premium, whichever is greater, $50,000 maximum. If a claim is not resolved it must be written within ______ days and explained to the insured. 45. The director must issue the written order for a market conduct exam in what time frame? 90 days of hearing or report file date. How often must a limited line producer renew their license? Annually. What is Regulation 919? Is designed to help the director determine which insurance companies operating in Illinois should be examined based on their business practices. When must the director provide a notice for a market conduct exam? Director must give at least 10 days hearing notice. How long is a prompt investigation? 21 days. What is the maximum fine for failing to obey a subpoena? $2,000 maximum. Once the producer has or/d of license they may not apply for their license again for at least _________________________________________________________________________________— If a producer steals less than $150 twice or more than $150 one time, what is this classified as? Class 3 or 4 felony, respectively. What is the fee for reinstating a lapsed license or for late renewals? Double renewal fee, $430. Once a hearing is requested related to suspension, revocation, or denial, the director must make the hearing date within how many days from the mailing of the hearing notice to the producer? 20 to 30 days. What is the maximum payout for accelerated benefits in the state of Illinois? 75% max payout, must include lump sum pay option. If a producer changes their license, how long do they have to notify and change this? 30 days. What is the civil penalty amount for S/R/D maximum? $100,000. If a producer holds funds for longer than 15 days, they must have what type of account? Premium fund trust account. What is the Life and Health Guarantee Association? This is set up to make certain that claims will be paid in the event financial insolvency, bankruptcy, or impairment strikes against an insurance company. If a producer steals less than $150, what is this classified as? Misdemeanor. How many years must a producer keep their PFTA books on record? 7 years minimum. What are the pre-licensing requirements? 20 hours per line, of which at least 7.5 hours must be classroom, L, H, P, C, and PL. How many days does a producer have to report to the director if they've received a felony? 30 days of judgment of conviction. What is the cost of a temporary license for a producer license? $50. How long does a temporary license for a producer application last? 90 days. When should the buyer's guide be provided to the consumer? Must be given to the consumer before accepting initial premium unless there is a 10-day free look, in which case upon delivery. How many funds are in the Life and Health Guarantee Association? 2 funds, one for life and one for health. What is the fee for reinstating a lapsed license or for late renewals for a non-resident? $760. What are the IL continued education requirements? 24 hours total biennial, every 2 years 3-hour ethics classroom or live webinar only, plus 21 hours self-study, single course maximum equals 12 hours. A producer cannot state that underscore 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 are guaranteed. Dividends. If the policy is cancelled within 90 days, underscore 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 refund of the service fee must be made within underscore 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 days. Prorated, 30.